Hello everyone, Hunter here at Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast on this Tuesday, June 25th, we are going to be talking about more excessive heat and humidity across the United States that will bring yucky heat index values over the next several days, and rounds of severe thunderstorms continue across especially the northern United States all the way through the start of July. We'll take you through your July 4th time frame and the tropical weather update at the end of the video. So lots to get to here in today's weather forecast. Make sure you are subscribed here to the channel as we do daily weather forecast videos across North America on the channel, including southern Canada, the United States, the tropics. Like the video if you do enjoy today's weather forecast, and also leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those later on today. Here is your ridge of high pressure across the Four Corners region this afternoon on your Tuesday. That is where the most excessive heat will be, extending from the desert Southwest through the southern plains and the Gulf Coast region. And so much so, we have heat headlines across this region in the orange. Those are widespread heat advisories all the way up into southwest Iowa, southeastern portions of Nebraska here, and excessive heat warnings over here into eastern portions of Arkansas, northwestern portions of Mississippi, northeastern Louisiana, and even a county there in southwestern Tennessee. Some scattered heat headlines further off to the west. Here are your afternoon high temperatures, and you can see we're back into the 90s and triple digits here across most of the central and south central United States. A lot of triple digits out here in Kansas, into Oklahoma and Texas, and then really down there toward the Gulf Coast. Here are those yucky heat index values. We could be seeing heat indexes literally all the way up into Des Moines, Rockford, Illinois, Chicago, into the 100, 105 ranges this afternoon, and further south, some 110s even possible in places like Memphis, in towards Little Rock there, and in toward portions of Jackson, Mississippi. So just a very yucky day to be outside. Make sure to stay hydrated if you do venture outdoors. Find shaded areas. Also some air-conditioned areas as well, and all of that heat and humidity is going to turn into thunderstorm energy. This is your thunderstorm energy here as we go through the afternoon. See these whites and grays up there toward the Midwest, the Ohio Valley. That's 5,000 joules per kilogram or higher of values. That is extreme instability as known here in the weather world, and that will create the environment ripe for severe weather. So the Storm Prediction Center maintains a level 2 out of 5, slight risk of severe weather from the Rapid City area in South Dakota, extending down here toward Hastings, Omaha, Des Moines, Topeka, and Kansas City, all the way south there toward the Branson, Missouri area, Springfield, Missouri, and St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois, Chicago, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Louisville, a lot of these areas, and even over there into Columbus, Ohio as well. So just an extensive area, a lot of population centers in the crosshairs as we go through the afternoon and evening. The main risk of these storms, the main hazard here, will be those 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Also hail, and some of this hailstones could be pretty significant, over 2 inches in diameter. That is hen egg size or larger from just east of Rapid City, down there toward Omaha there into portions of the Ames and Des Moines, Iowa region. And then we're looking at a very narrow line here as well of a 2% chance of an isolated tornado. Again, Ames and Des Moines, back into Omaha here, and back just to the east of Rapid City. So let's look here at what the radar could look like as we go into the afternoon. A couple thunderstorms continuing off our mesoscale convective system that we saw drop through Wisconsin and Michigan and northern Illinois last night and early this morning. Outflow boundaries from this complex of storms will be the initiation point for new development as we go into the early and especially mid-evening hours. I really think this starts to get going around 8, 9, and 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time here, and then we really start to see more of these clusters of showers and storms spreading eastward through the mid-Missouri Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley, over here into the western Ohio Valley, and these storms will also be training over a lot of the same areas over and over and over again, so some very heavy rainfall will be possible, and some flash flooding can be possible as well. We already have saturated soils from previous rainfall events here several days ago, and on top of saturated soils, heavy rainfall, that is a recipe for the potential for some significant flash flooding. So if you live in southern Iowa, north central Missouri, Illinois, especially central Illinois around the I-80, I-74 corridor, And then over here toward Indianapolis here, we might have to watch out for a couple inches of rain in a very short amount of time going through the evening and overnight hours and early Wednesday morning. Speaking of Wednesday, here are your afternoon high temperatures. Again, another hot day across the plains, especially the central, southern plains, and down here into the southeast. A little bit modulated with some of the cooler weather coming down from the north with some of these thunderstorms as they move from north to south across the mid-Mississippi Valley. But look at those yucky heat index values. Tulsa up to 115, Oklahoma City to 114, 111 here into the Wichita Falls area, 116 into Fort Smith, Arkansas. As we go into Wednesday afternoon, just a very, very hot and humid, muggy day as we go through the Wednesday time frame. But again, that heat and humidity will lead to a lot of high storm energy. You can see these purples here, 4,000 plus joules per kilogram of instability here as we go through the day on Wednesday. So much so, we do have enough instability again for some isolated and scattered bouts of severe weather from the northeast I-95 corridor back down here through the Appalachians into the lower Ohio and Tennessee River valleys, and then back toward the mid-south. Also another marginal risk from the Front Range outside of the Denver area up there into the panhandle of Nebraska and northwest Kansas as we go into Wednesday as well. So starting off Wednesday morning, another mesoscale convective system, which is a fancy word for a line of thunderstorms moving through the St. Louis area, down here into the Ozarks, into the Springfield, Branson, Missouri region Wednesday morning. That will start to dive further to the south following that instability gradient through the Little Rock area, through the Memphis area here as we go through the afternoon. More scattered activity further north and east into the Ohio, Tennessee River Valley and the northeast. And then we just see a lot of thunderstorm activity all about as we go into Wednesday evening here from the Rockies, through the lower Mississippi Valley, through the Ohio Valley, through the Northeast. A lot of different areas seeing the potential for significant weather as we go into Wednesday evening. Going into Thursday, here comes more of the heat across the south. A cooler weather with the cold front moving through over the next 24, 48 hours. So a little reprieve for the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and Northeast. So a nice cooler day on Thursday. Do take advantage because the heat comes right back for the central plains as we go into Friday, and as we go into Saturday and Sunday, another cold front comes through. We get heat on Friday. Cold front comes through the Midwest, Great Lakes, cools us off again, but the heat just persists across the south and southeast as we go through this upcoming weekend, and actually the last weekend of June. And let's look here at our new storm system that will traverse the northern United States. This is on the crest of that ridge, right? So we have a low pressure storm trough here across portions of the Pacific Northwest as we go into Thursday. This is June 27th. That crosses into the southern Canadian prairies of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, but also the northern plains of the Dakotas into Montana on Friday, June 28th. And this will crest over the top of that ridge of heat that we were showing you for the upcoming weekend. So on Saturday, this moves across the upper Midwest, upper Great Lakes region, and then finally exiting across southeastern Canada of Ontario and Quebec, but also the upper valley areas there of the New England region as well. And then the heat just builds back behind it right in time for the 4th of July. So let's look here at Thursday's storm threat. We do have a slight risk of severe weather for the western Dakotas, northeast Wyoming, and eastern Montana here, with a marginal extending down into Nebraska, Kansas, and the Front Range of eastern Colorado. This could bring more of a damaging wind and hail threat, although a couple of tornadoes may evolve out of this as this is more discrete and scattered activity on Thursday. Cold front moves through Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri on Friday, could bring a little mesoscale convective system with very heavy rain, again, over saturated soils, the same areas there on Friday. Saturday, cold front becomes a little bit more parallel here, so we see a lot more of those thunderstorms again, training over the same areas from Michigan down into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri, even back here into eastern Kansas. Some rain over there into the mid-Atlantic ahead of the front. And then on Saturday or Sunday, we're going to see that thunderstorm activity move off of the East Coast, and we'll start to heat up again across the middle of the country. Here is the rainfall corridor between Thursday, June 27th and Sunday, June 30th. This takes you through the end of June. And yeah, you can see a lot of these areas here in the middle, upper Mississippi Valley there toward the Great Lakes and Northeast. A lot of the same areas we've been seeing on the crest of that ridge. That's where the heaviest of weather will be, with weather respects to, heavy rainfall, severe weather, or just normal rain. We're going to see a lot of active weather to the north. Underneath that with the ridge, lots of sinking air, lots of sunshine, heat and humidity will be building, especially see that donut hole in Texas. Yeah, we're really not expecting a lot of rainfall in Texas through this time frame. So Turning now into early July, this takes you through the first full week, work week of July, Monday, July 1st through Friday, July 5th. And this also takes you through Thursday, July 4th, the 4th of July as well. And you can see that ridge of high pressure that's been out west will just retrograde further east now. And we're going to see a lot more heat with the center of that ridge over the southeast. And look at the heat expanding across most of the eastern 2/3 of the country into that first full week of July. And we have to watch the crest of that ridge again into early July. We have a very strong belt of winds in our jet stream over the top here, and this could be conducive to more heavy rainfall events and more severe weather events as we go through the first week in July in a lot of the same areas. Again, Michigan, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, into much of Iowa there, into Minnesota, Nebraska, the Dakotas, and maybe back here toward the Front Range. And you can see a lot of monsoonal moisture moving up through western and central Mexico into the Four Corners region. So Utah, Colorado, especially down here toward Phoenix and Flagstaff and Arizona, into the Albuquerque area there and westward in New Mexico, and especially western New Mexico. We're going to see a lot more rain with that monsoonal moisture, but look at all the browns down here across the south and southeast and up the east coast. A lot of drier weather with that heat expanding in the center of that ridge of high pressure further to the south there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Turning to the tropical weather update here, the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida continues to remain a little bit bullish, I would say. A 20% chance of development here. 4 areas in the Western Caribbean across Central America there into the Bay of Campeche. This system really is going to be battling a lot of Saharan dust and a lot of dry air as it is. Yes, the water temperatures are off the charts down here in the Caribbean. We know that, but when you have dry air aloft, we think of the atmosphere from the top down, and when you have dry air being sucked into this system, it's really just not going to have much of a chance to develop as we go through the week and even into the weekend here on Saturday, June 29th. So I really don't think that system is going to be developing into anything significant, but we'll continue to watch it. I am more intrigued by the system here moving off of Africa as we speak and through the MDR, the main development region here into the tropical Atlantic and toward the Lesser Antilles on Monday, July 1st. So as we turn the page to July here, you can see this is the EPS ensemble pressure guidance here, and this shows some members getting some pressure organized near the Lesser Antilles. Also, very supportive by other ensemble members as well as the GEFS ensembles and the GEPS ensemble. So there is a little bit of support here for something maybe into the first week of July, closing in on the MDR and the Lesser Antilles. Not panicking at all. This is a lot of time between now and then, several days, but it is a trend, and trend is your friend this time of year. But we will also note that the Saharan dust is not going away into early July either, at least for the first day or so of July. So even so, this system will also likely be battling some dry air. So there still are question marks on how strong the system gets, if we even see a system, and everything that has to go with the dry air with this as well. So we'll keep you updated on that. As far as the Eastern Pacific Ocean is concerned, over the next 7 days, National Hurricane Center, and rightfully so, it's very, very quiet across portions of the Eastern Pacific Ocean, so they are not expecting any new tropical cyclones over the next week to really 10 days across that region. Thank you all for watching. If you did like today's weather forecast, leave a like down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those later on today. My name is Hunter here with Weather on the Go, and I'll see you all tomorrow with a new weather forecast.